Roastar Coffee Packaging, found online at roastar.com, prints great-looking coffee bags for a host of your favorite coffee companies, companies of all sizes, that trust Roastar to produce packages worthy of their specialty coffee beans. It's Roastar's mission, their ethos, to help their customers tell their stories, big or small. That includes those of you roasting coffee at home. If you're a small roaster wanting to share your coffee with friends and family, Roastar will support you too. Head to roastar.com to learn more about their quick turnaround times, digital printing, and smaller print runs. You can also use their design lab to create an entirely new package in the blink of an eye. In short, Roastar Coffee Packaging can help you. And on roastar.com, you can start with a quote and end with the perfect coffee bag to share your story. Now, on to the show. Speaking of which, I'm going to get started so we can not forget to do this little pop-in, and then we can get back to it. Hey, everybody. Welcome to this pop-in episode of the Coffee People podcast, presented, as always, by the Roast West Coast Coffee Network. I'm your host, Ryan Woldt, and this show is supported by Roastar Coffee Packaging. They work with roasters of all sizes to tell their big stories on that coffee bag. I'm joined once again by our friends and supporters, the founders of Craft 42 Roasters, Aaron and Taylor Moore, who I wanted to check in with because they are lovely human beings and because, frankly, I'm setting the groundwork for a future visit and we'll probably need a place or a lawn to stay on. And I always prefer a place with great coffee. Hey, Aaron and Taylor, finally, welcome back to Coffee People.
Hi.
Yeah, glad to be back.
As if we haven't been chatting for 5 minutes already. So how long has it been since you guys launched Craft 42? It's been almost 2 years, right?
Almost 2 years, yeah, and 18 months probably. Well, it would be 18 months since we talked to you last because the first half of the podcast, I was pregnant,
That's right.
and then the second half, I had the baby in the podcast because we wanted to throw a couple more things in there that we thought about after, and my baby's 18 months, so
From 18 months ago, when you were getting started, launching this business, roasting, doing some online stuff, there was a cafe tasting room on the horizon at that time, I believe, or just starting. What is Craft 42 now, today?
So I would say like the main difference between then and now certainly is volume. The community has really taken on the whole tasting concept and really love coming in and doing the tasting experience. Aaron definitely has a heavy role in that and really makes it what it is, but it's definitely what has brought a lot of people through our doors, and just that parallel to, we live in wine country, and just that parallel to like a wine tasting experience but with coffee. People are just absolutely going nuts over that concept, and I would say almost everybody, if not everybody, leaves saying, wow, I did not know this much about coffee and about specialty coffee, and it really has blown up for us. So yeah, we're definitely, I would say, just getting much busier. Things are much more out of control.
When you say coffee experience, the tasting, I was looking at your offerings, the guided coffee experience. Can you describe kind of what that is if someone were to come in for that? I mean, when you say wine tasting, I think I go to the winery, they put wine in my glass, and then I drink it, and that's kind of the end of it. I'm sure they're talking to me, but I'm mostly just drinking the wine.
Well, I'll let Aaron answer that because he is the guide.
So we always say, we sit down, we talk about we either do three coffees as pour overs or espressos or one coffee three ways. We talk about the farm, we talk about farming, we talk about processing, and then the big thing is how to brew better at home. And we try to meet our guests wherever they are on their coffee journey. So if they're really geeky about coffee, we get in the weeds. If they're still saying, "Oh, shoot, I didn't even know coffee was a fruit. We start there and we work our way back, but we always start and end with it's just fun. We're playing with coffee. We're supposed to be enjoying the experience. If you want to get super geeky about it, that can be fun too. But the only question you're answering when you're in our shop is, do you like the coffee you're drinking? And then maybe you can take a step further and say, why? And then just trying to make it light and enjoyable and education based has been what we've been trying to do. And it's been getting some great reception.
That's very cool. I'm obviously down here in Southern California right now. If I can't make it to the shop, any chance like we could do a guided tasting online somehow someday? Is that in the future where
Oh my
someone could
god,
be
that would
Yeah,
like,
be
yeah, for
so
sure. Yeah, we
fun.
could. Yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
that's so
like,
fun. So what we could do is like obviously most of it's virtual, but we could send you the coffee so that you have that like
hmm
and we just walk you through each of them. Like obviously you're an experienced brewer, so we could just send you our
well,
sample. Wow. I feel like you know your stuff.
very nice of you to say. Well, but I think that'd be a great thing for anyone. And I get excited when I think about things. And you're telling me about this tasting, and it's like, well, I can't be there, but I want to do that. You put together a sample pack of three, little things, and you ship them out, and you spend 45 minutes on a Zoom chat with somebody, and wow, man,
Totally.
they've got a whole new experience. And what I think
You
is
just
really,
thought of our next business idea.
I know, right? Well, I don't want to take credit for it entirely, but maybe a little bit. 10% is fine. What I was thinking was how cool it is. As I was thinking about it, I get to talk to people all over the country and the world, and I was here in Canada, but even just experiencing how different regions talk about coffee or what is popular in their area is kind of a cool way to experience coffee and play with it, like you said. Which leads me to you had 2 years of playing with coffee, but also in a business standpoint. Do you still like coffee, or are you kind of over it?
I think that's a really good question for me because I like started out in this whole process not a huge coffee drinker, it was more Aaron, but then when
hmm
Aaron was starting to geek out about the coffee and the specialty avenue of it, I really started to get more into it, and I would say I'm literally obsessed with coffee at this point. Like, I get excited when a new one comes in, I get excited in all the different ways we can brew it and how that changes the taste profile, and I just I don't know, I just feel like yeah, we're literally obsessed with coffee. I think our whole life has turned into the answer is coffee to everything pretty much, but, what do you think? I don't know.
I mean, I like it even more now than before. And
Uh-huh.
now it's when you have that interaction with your guest, and it's always different people, of course, but they're enjoying it and they're picking up all these little things you're talking about, and you're feeling that they're really enjoying it and they're getting excited about all these little things that you enjoy, you're passing along, and you're using these illustrations maybe to try and communicate that, and then they're tasting something, a beverage that they maybe have had every day of their life for the last however many years, and then they're just drinking it completely differently. We in the shop always talk about how, specialty coffee and commodity coffee are just two different beverages. So if you've only had commodity coffee, like you haven't had specialty yet. So it's just like almost forget what you've had before. And so just having people have that experience always excites me, always makes me really happy to talk about coffee and share that. And now we have stuff where before, when I had a little geeky coffee I wanted to bring in for the next one, I'd be like, hey Tay, here's like this one. Now we're in the car today and she's going, I really think we need to bring in another fun coffee before Christmas. And we have 11 coffees right now.
Whereas, like, a year ago, I would've been like, "You have too many varietals, like, this is getting out of control," and now I'm, like, right on that same train with him where I'm like, "Okay, okay, so let's bring what else can we bring in? Let's bring out something else." Like, I'm starting to get that niche and, like, that, like, exciting aspect of
Yeah.
it, but
I hosted a little pop up this weekend at a mountain biking fundraiser in the woods. When I got home, my wife she was there, but we drove separately. And when I got home, she asked, "Did you like do as well as you had hoped? Did you make any profit?" Essentially, was what she was asking me at the event. And I was like, I'm not gonna like I haven't exactly. We're not gonna discuss that yet. Like we're gonna look into it and just see where all the things lie. And then in my head, I'm going, well. Yes, if you don't include these other things that I did like because I was excited about it and wanting to do it, and I was
Uh-huh.
there and donating to the thing, and it was just a whole. It's like no, no, no. Like yes, there money is part of it. I'm sure somewhere along the
Yeah.
line, but the excitement of spending the weekend talking to all these people about coffee and bikes was like, yeah, I won either way. Like, and I was out camping, so no worries.
Totally.
I say this, as I mentioned, my wife, and you're obviously a partnered couple, knowing that all relationships require work over time. And so, if you're listening, getting engaged or married, partnered, know that if you are really in it for the long haul, it's a lot like owning a business. It's going to require work. And that said, your personal and professional lives are fairly intertwined. I'm wondering if during kind of the building and growth of this business, during which your family has grown too, we mentioned that. Uh, how do you make it work in a way that feels fulfilling and not turning your lives together into work? Obviously, liking it is part of it, but there's also this. There's a day to day component that you have to go through, and then come home together and be together and raise your family together. How do you make all of that manageable?
That's all Taylor.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
I think we're still working on that, but,
Yeah.
no, having 2 kids and the business and everything, I mean, I don't know, it's so hard. I think a relationship in general is so much work, like, there's no way anyone has, the flawless, perfect relationship where it's all just, like, rainbows and butterflies every day. W Being in a forever relationship, it's work, really hard work. Not just like in the relationship, but I think independently like as individuals, like just really recognizing the things that you're going to have to adjust in a positive way to sustain the relationship. But with the business involved, there's obviously like challenges and difficult times, and people would think, "Oh, you guys must spend so much time together." We don't really spend that much time together. We divide and conquer. So I do a lot of the behind the scenes work that the business requires, the communication with people, all the billing, all the finances, all the bookwork and that. And then Aaron is like really the face of the coffee tasting experience and the coffee shop. But and then also like for me, I just feel like with being home with the kids all the time, I kind of work from home, I guess you can say, and Aaron is more there and present. So I think like just getting actually a little bit of time away from each other can be good sometimes. And we come home and we get to talk about it. I'm like wanting to talk so much because I've been with kids all day, and Aaron's like been talking all day doing tastings and just wants maybe a little bit of quietness, but we still manage to like really enjoy each other's company on in those moments that we get to. Um, yeah, it's I don't know, it's been
I think the answer is wine.
yeah, lots of wine.
That's the answer
Lots of
to all
wine, lots of
successful
coffee,
Coffee
relationships.
during the day, wine
wine
at
at
night.
night.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think there's no way I could sit here and say like there haven't been challenges. There absolutely have been challenges, but I think, yeah, it's definitely made us stronger as a couple. Our kids have really witnessed a lot of hard work and tenacity. And so I think we're better because of it, honestly. And that's an honest answer. I really do. I think I can see why some couples would find it very difficult to work with each other. But yeah, I think we have like separate qualities that add to the business and coming together like work really well. So I don't know if I answered that well. What do you think?
We went on a tangent. I
Do you
respect
still
that.
love me?
Yeah.
Basically.
I
Basically,
had
yeah.
parents who ran a business together, a hospitality business, and so now in my 40s, I'm still coming up with lessons that I learned seeing them together as I apply them to my own relationship. My wife and I are coming up on 22 years or something like that together, and so
Ah.
and we have worked together. We don't currently, but like she was at the event this weekend, and without her, I would have been lost. And but I think, it's because we have these different perspectives and different, things that we do well, but then can come together and be excited about each other's thing. And so I'm always curious about that and why I ask you that. I I know we're just supposed to be popping in, but I think it's important to ask and find out what's coming up for Craft 42. What's on the horizon? We're entering this. It's October 21st. I'm gonna put this show up snappy like that, so people will be getting it pretty quick here, right around Halloween.
I feel like I'm doing all this.
Well,
I
yeah.
feel bad because you're both like heavily involved in like the business on a like face to face basis. But I do think that like there are big changes probably coming. I cannot tell you how many times in a day I hear people say, "You guys are growing. You guys are growing out of this space. You're too big for this space now." And I feel that when I'm in there. It just kind of seems like we're just stepping around things to get to where we need to get because everything is just so busy. But yeah, I think that there are definitely some opportunities and plans in the near future for possible expansion, though we want that to stay true to what we're doing already. Yeah, I think I'm just very careful with those types of decisions. I'm typically confident once I've made it, but I just want to make sure that I'm not doing anything that is going to take away from what we wanted to do to begin with. But I don't know.
Yeah, I think we're really finding that when we started the company, we had these ideas of what we wanted it to be, and I think we expressed it to you early on in our last podcast. And actually, I listened to it recently, re-listened to the podcast we were on, and was amazed that like a lot of those things that we kind of thought hopefully would be our values continuing have worked out almost unbelievably well in a certain way, and just refocusing and always staying focused on coffee education and brewing at home
Yes.
and just keeping it like it's light, it's fun. Like I love being in a cafe, a craft cafe that's got a fun hipster vibe, and that is super exciting to me. But also, we want coffee to feel approachable to everybody, no matter what age they are. Like dad loves good coffee, type of thing. Like mom likes good
We have
coffee.
such
Everybody
a
likes good coffee. So we have this great
huge demographic.
diversity of
Yeah.
demographic of people that are coming in, and just saying the amount of times I've had a coffee tasting from adult kids and their mom and dad who are back in town who want to connect with their child for something that they think they like, which is craft coffee. And then mom and dad sit down and they're like, you know what? I really like this too, and now they both like it because it's not just for anybody. So just seeing that excitement, and refocusing on that, hopefully we'll see where that goes as far as maybe potential expansion, but really just staying true to our values and staying true to our brand and to what 42 means for us has been really exciting. And then obviously Christmas season is will be here before we know it. So we're working on all that stuff, all our Comfort and Joy holiday blend that will be released,
Mhm.
and all of the fun things that are going on with what we're bringing into the store. And we're always trying new coffees and cupping constantly. And that's just a lot of fun. So we've had, what did we say, over 40 different coffees in the last 12 months. And it
Wow.
seems like the pace is picking up.
Mhm.
If I'm a first timer to the website from out of town, or if I'm a first timer to the shop, what is the coffee that you're going to say, this is the one to start with because it represents what we do? That's a challenging
Oh boy.
question, I
Oh,
know.
like
I
which
see your
current?
face. Yeah, like if I send
No,
somebody to
because
the
they're
website,
so good. There's so many good ones. And it depends on which perspective you're thinking of terms of like our morning glory is just absolutely delicious and very much, your day-to-day milk, chocolate, nutty comfort coffee that you could just brew in any way and it's gonna turn out amazing every time. But I think I know your answer.
Well, my answer is always the most annoying answer in craft coffee, which is that depends. So that depends on what you want to do. That depends on the mood you're in. For me right now, I'm really geeky on the Louis Rubio coffee from Nicaragua. It's like a carbonic maceration coffee. It's got these fun winey mulled wine vibes going on. It's soft. It's got florality. we're in wine country, so a lot of people that come in are familiar with that. So when you're talking carbonic maceration, they're like, "Oh yeah, we use that wine all the time." And you're like, "Yeah, so they've done this in coffee, and here's what, they say it, brings out in the coffee." And I also like a fun thing to talk about.
I kind of cough and say, nerd.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
You don't understand what I'm dealing with over here. Like, I just started, and I think, if I'm going to be honest, I think I was the first one to be like, "What am roasting coffee?" From that moment, he grabbed his phone and went down this like rabbit hole of coffee, and I just still remember like exactly where we were sitting, exactly what that felt like, and he just took it to this whole new level, and I loved it because the man is a genius with coffee. He's very, very much, he'll say otherwise. He has studied and learned so much about coffee, and it's always, a revolving door of learning and making sure that we are up to date with everything. But he really, I know he's having a hard time
It's
with
a
that.
very pleasing liberal use of the
Oh
word
my gosh, you're
genius.
so yeah, but he's very, 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 very knowledgeable on coffee, and I would say there are people that are like, "Go see Aaron at Craft 42. He'll help you, brew better at home." And I think that just seems to be really the direction we're heading in. Have fun with it, but like take home. I just love picturing people sitting at home and drinking a little coffee with their partner or their family, or if they have us all in their house for Christmas, our coffee. I mean, not us in particular, but um, I just think it's so exciting to like picture them talking about it and what they taste and
They
how
shared this
how
weird coffee
share
with
this
a
weird coffee, or
friend.
how they could brew it better with different anyways. It's just there's so much that we're not seeing that excites me. Yeah, so
It's always enjoyable to connect with the two of you, and I find your sincerity as human beings, it comes through when even over video chat from thousands of miles away. It's not something I take for granted in the slightest, which is why I want to let you off the hook at the end of this chat with a really easy question. Any thoughts on the upcoming U.S. election you'd like to share?
Sorry, you cut out there. I thought you said the US election.
I, I said, any thoughts on the U.S. election you'd like to share? No, just kidding.
Good
Let's
luck.
go with let's.
Aaron, yeah.
Yeah. How about this? Favorite holiday movie for the Christmas season with a nice cup of hot coffee?
Oh,
One for Christmas.
All I Want for Christmas. Yeah, hands down.
Yeah.
Have you heard of it?
All I Want for Christmas?
Yeah, but Die Hard is the only Christmas movie that I watch, so it's
Oh, you know,
Guy loves controversy.
I watched that movie for the first time last Christmas, and I thought to
Mhm.
myself, "This is not a Christmas movie."
It's absolutely, it is the quintessential
Should have
Christmas
stayed with the
movie.
politics.
Hey everyone, thank you for popping into the show today with me and the duo behind Craft 42 Roasters, Aaron and Taylor Moore. The Kelowna, British Columbia community has responded to what they're putting down at the Craft 42 tasting room, not just in terms of the coffee, but in their effort to both create and enable an excellent coffee experience. They dive into the tastings, but still make the effort to meet the guests where they are. Where have I heard that phrase before? Oh yeah. My coffee sensei Chris O'Brien and I have said that exact phrase on the Coffee Smarter podcast like a million times. Of the two, Taylor's craft engagement is the one that has gone from appreciator to obsessive, to the point that she's catching up with Aaron down that rabbit hole. And their customers span that gamut as well. From first-time coffee appreciators to those who embrace their inner coffee nerd with open arms. That's the pop-in for today. If you don't happen to be in Kelowna, go online to craft42roasters.ca to buy coffee, gear, apparel, or book a coffee tasting experience, which, frankly, every coffee at Craft 42 is an experience. Links, as always, are in the show notes and in our newsletter that is on the internet. And if you sign up, you'll receive it about once a week. Just go to roastwestcoast.com. If you're listening to this show on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please tap the follow button and give us as many stars as you feel we've earned. It's such an easy way to support this show, and we really appreciate it. Shout out to Roastar Coffee Packaging, found at roastar.com. They're the overarching presenting sponsor of Roast West Coast and will help you tell the big story of your small business. They've been an incredible support in enabling us to develop this platform where we share the stories of coffee people. And they also provided the packaging for our new coffee collaboration with Relative Coffee, which is pretty awesome, and you can see in the newsletter. We'll be back with another episode of the Coffee People podcast and a bonus episode of the Coffee With podcast, featuring musician and artist Michael Cypress later this week. Thank you for listening, for sharing, asking questions, and being coffee curious. This pop-in episode of the Coffee People podcast is part of the Roast West Coast Coffee Network, and this episode has been written, produced, researched, and recorded by me, Ryan Woldt. Wherever you find yourself today, I hope it is with a fine cup of coffee. Thank you for listening to us tell the stories of coffee people. Cheers, everyone.
Aaron and I are excited because we have really capable staff who are just wonderful. We have the best staff.
Now I feel bad we never brought up the staff.
We never brought the staff. That's right. Next time, our staff.
So good. The staff are amazing. Yeah.
Honest to God, like, I don't know how we got so lucky. I think like a lot of it's intuition when I'm interviewing. We do have like a very strict hiring standard of like some experience and certainly passion behind coffee
And being a good human.
and just a good human. And you have to feel that because you can be very much swayed in a way that you never thought. And honestly, like, our staff, they just care about us and our brand and our success so much. Like, they treat it like it's their own, each and every one of them. And it just, you feel that when you're in there. And I think, like, I've had several people come up to me and say that about, their experience when they're in there and we're not there. Just like, oh, your staff are so nice. Oh, your staff are great. Or your staff make a great latte. Or your staff, really were knowledgeable about the beans when I asked them questions. So, like, when Aaron's not there, we feel at least, or me, we feel at least comfort in the fact that like they just treat all of our customers like it's their own business. And I don't know what we did to get so lucky, but honestly, and starting a business, I thought, I wonder if like we're gonna struggle to find. What if we don't find anybody? And what if like even like I would say like 8 months ago, I thought to myself, I don't know if I'm gonna have enough staff, and then I'm gonna have to work. How am I gonna work with the kids
I'd
and
say we
dropping
have
them
a
off school?
waiting list to work.
We
where we
literally,
are.
I would say, okay, let's like, okay, wheel it
Wheel it
back.
back? Too
Yeah,
far?
too far.